All right, got a really important message for you guys. Let me tag. I'm out for my run, and I received this message that absolutely was just like, it has to go out to my people. So, all right. So here's the deal. Here's the message. If you consider yourself an ambitious, either creative and or entrepreneur, and you have challenges around either finding and or maintaining your pace, this is for you, okay? So our ability to find our own personal rhythm, our ability to sink into our own personal rhythm, and not just our own personal rhythm, when you truly sink into your heartbeat, your personal rhythm, it automatically sinks you into the heart, the great heart, okay? Which means you are sinking to life, all right? And so let me just pull back for a second, because I want to preface this. You know, as a doctor of Oriental medicine, which really, that approach of looking at life from a very holistic lens is very different to how health and well-being has been conditioned in the West. And so in the West, what tends to happen is we look at health, or you may have been taught to look at health as like something that comes in a package. It's like some sort of something that you have to take, and or this rearranging stuff, like rearranging the furniture, until it kind of like gets right inside of you. And that's actually not what health is. Health is a relationship to your life. Okay? It's a holistic relationship to your life. So coming back to the heart, right? Now, if you've suffered trauma, what that does, and there's a lot of different, when it comes to trauma, there's so many different kinds of trauma. And what is trauma to one person, it's all relative, may not be trauma to another person, okay? So something that's very common, right? Especially if at a very, very young age you were forced to grow up really fast, or if at a young age you experienced trauma, is as an adult, you will tend to downplay your experiences because there's been a hardening, there's been like a toughening in order to survive. So it's really important that I speak to this and say this, because what I see a lot is there's like, well, I haven't really experienced trauma, okay? And so just to get that out of the way, trauma shocks the heart, okay? Another way that heart shock can actually show up is with athletes. So, and or if you've ever been in some sort of car accident, or some sort of like something that really rocks your world, like even just like suddenly finding out that your parent has died, or suddenly finding out that, something that it shocks you. It's like this sense of like, oh my God, like my reality, my sense of reality just totally got rocked. Like I never in 1,000 years expected for this to happen, okay? That can totally shock somebody's heart. It may not shock everybody, but it has the potential to shock some people, okay? And so I really want to, like, I want to be very clear that we're all different, right? We're so unique, and what is, might have an influence on one person may not influence another person. So, if you resonate with any of the things that I'm talking about, it's very possible that you could have been experiencing what's called heart shock, okay? And so the heart is from the lens of Chinese medicine, is where we sit on the throne as the sovereign of our life. It's where you sit on the throne as the king or the queen of your life. And so I want you to imagine that heart and or that king or queen totally being like experiencing some sort of chaotic situation where they're not able to maintain their sense of control and, you know, and peace over their own dominion. Okay, so it's like it's totally rattling them. Okay, and that's something that they may or may not have recovered from. So experiencing that kind of shock from the heart is, from that point forward, if you do not heal that heart shock, what happens is there's a sense of irregularity in your life, meaning where you're not able to find your personal rhythm. You're not able to actually regain that sense of inner peace and inner, like, being at peace in your own body. Okay, and this can manifest in a lot of different ways. You know, people that tend to experience a lot of restlessness, like inner restlessness, anxiety, the mind that never ever comes to comes to a sense of quiet and or tranquility, a tendency to be overly controlling and or, you know, just having a lot of chaos in your life, like any of those sort of extremes, you know, insomnia, and or coming back to not being able to find and or maintain a pace. So imagine the heart, right? It's a really fast heartbeat because I was just running, but imagine like a heartbeat that's like, it's like all over the place. There's no consistent, solid rhythm going on because the heart has been shocked. And you would be so surprised, you know, in my work as a doctor of Oriental medicine, like I've shared with you guys before, and I'll share it again. My first job out of acupuncture school, I saw at least minimum 50 patients a week. 100 was not a far stretch, every single week for years. I had this incredible ability to really, like, this is unheard of unless you're in an internship, you know, and or you go to China. Sometimes this happens where acupuncture is like so prevalent and like that's a thing. So straight out of acupuncture school, I had this amazing opportunity where I got so much experience seeing so many patients in a very short period of time. And you would be so surprised at how many people actually have heart shock. What's up, Maria? I'm talking about if you're an ambitious, either creative and or entrepreneur that has challenges finding your pace and or maintaining your pace, why this is and what you can do about it. And so let me know if this resonates with you, right? Like if finding a pace, that like a rhythm that, you know, and maintaining it. So, and I'm talking about why this happens. And if you've experienced trauma, what happens is that a lot of times, it shocks the heart, you know, and trauma can show up in so many different ways. And this is what I was saying at the very beginning of the live stream, that even just being in a car accident can shock your heart. And so many times people don't realize that their heart got shocked. And even athletes, like I'm going to give you an example, something that happened to me is athletes, if you are like a high performing, and it's this, even if you're an entrepreneur, if you've been in you've set up, so like let's say there's an athlete, right, that's used to training really, really hard, right? Like they're running, they're exercising, and they're doing this all the time, every single day. And then for some reason, they suddenly stop training for whatever reason. Like this is one way that it happened to me, is I got into an accident And so I wasn't able to maintain that cardiac output that I was used to because I wasn't training as hard every single day. So, and so for whatever reason that may be, you know, you might burn yourself out, right? You might be like somebody who goes really, really hard, you burn yourself out, and then all of a sudden you totally stop. And you're like, oh my God, I burned myself out. Now I'm just not going to do anything. Okay. This is what quite frequently the reason behind this is because of heart shock. So when you have that amount of cardiac output, your blood vessels have to expand in order to pump that volume of blood out into your extremities. So then imagine that all of a sudden you aren't training and or executing or putting out that much blood or energy, but your blood vessels are still expanded, okay, but you're only putting out a tiny little bit of blood. That actually shocks the heart because there's this vacuum, there's this space in the blood vessels because the blood vessels are so expanded, but there's not the same amount of pressure inside of the vessels from the blood output. Okay, so that actually shocks the heart. And so when the heart is shocked, you are supposed to maintain a rhythm in the heart. Okay, when you have a rhythm and you're connected to your drumbeat and you're connected to your rhythm, you are synced into the great heart. You are synced into the cosmic rhythm. But if you are not synced into your own personal rhythm and your heart is like all over the place, and so this is what what happens is you're not able to find your pace. You're not able to find like a pace that feels good to you and that you can actually maintain for the long term. All right. So, where was I going with this? So, where was I going? I was going somewhere with this. Yeah. So it's incredibly important, if that's something that you've experienced, is you have to heal the heart shock. And what will happen, okay, yeah, this is where I was going with that, is you would be so surprised how many people like I have treated that have heart shock and like we're going years and years and years without ever it being treated. And like, you know, how many doctors that they had gone to and like had their pulses taken and nobody ever felt and realized that they had an irregular heartbeat. Okay. So this is something that I specialize in. I've worked with so many patients. And so here's the thing is you can do all of the treatments, you can treat all of the different organs in the body. But if you do not address the heart, because the heart is the sovereign, the heart is the king or the queen of the entire queendom. It's like that heart rules, that heart has to come first. So you have to first address that heart shock and get that heart to be in its natural position of peace and inner stability in order to get everything else following that heartbeat. So this is for you. So like if this resonates with you, if you have questions, #replay, let me know in the comments if this resonates with you, where either you're an ambitious entrepreneur that has challenges either finding and or maintaining your pace. And what I mean by pace is also your personal power, right? If you tend to experience situations where you feel like you're in your power and then you get disconnected from your power and you feel like you're in your power, right? Like that's your pace, that's your rhythm. It's because you're not, and you've experienced some sort of trauma. And coming back to what I said at the very beginning, so many people maybe don't even acknowledge the fact that they experienced a trauma. So this could go like something as simple as being in a car accident and being like, it really wasn't that big of a deal. You know, I didn't break any bones, or, you know, nothing happened. It could be that you actually did suffer some sort of, or experience it shocking your heart. So that's really important to address. And so the reason why I'm bringing this up, right, is we are, at least in the northern hemisphere, we are in fire season, okay? It's Leo season. It is the season of summer, and this is the belongs to the element of fire, which, you know, includes the heart, the small intestine, the triple burner, the pericardium. And so this will be the time of year when these sort of things can show up. So yeah, that's it. That's actually like my message. I was out running, and you know, I used to run so much. I love running. I was a very, very avid runner, and I'm always, you know, switching up and changing my trainings and things like that. And so I've started running again, which I love. So I'm super stoked about it. And I've just started like receiving, like, it was flooded with all of these downloads and things. Some of these things absolutely are going inside of Harlequin the Huntress. But this was a message that was just like, wanted to come out and be shared with you guys. So if you like this and or you want more of this, I highly recommend that you join me in my mastermind, Harlequin the Huntress. It's a hybrid mastermind. We're going to be focusing on definitely the fire element and the planet Mars, which is the divine masculine, you know, stepping into greater levels of personal power, leadership, courage, ambition, leading into the edges, but doing that in a very balanced way. You know, it's going to be, it's the theme, or rather a big intention, right? Or this is a rite of passage for the Mars retrograde happening in the sign of Gemini. So, you know, Gemini, a lot of people don't actually realize this, is a sign of balance. So it's a lot to do, you know, if you are somebody who, you know, desires to have greater, so like, let's say that you are an entrepreneur, but you struggle with having balance, meaning in a holistic way in your life. So that might show up as you work a lot and maybe you're really successful in your business, but at the expense of your personal relationships and or your home life, or with your family, or with your health, or any of those things the other way around. Like, let's say that you have, you know, like you have a lot of success when it comes to, or fulfillment in your family life, or in your personal relationships, but you found that your passion has suffered, and or you have desires of expanding, you know, and or creating a business, and you put that on the back burner at the expense of your family because you're a mother, or you know, and or your personal relationships, you know, and or your health is suffering perhaps, or your health seems to be something that's out of balance because you work really, really hard, and you know, at the expense of well-being. So this is for you. If that's, you know, you don't have to be, of course, like having a problem that needs to be solved. However, this is a rite of passage that is, you know, that is a portal that is going, you know, gives the opportunity to step into greater levels of fluidity, resilience, and adaptability, as well as your voice and the sacred marriage. Really, then that's the balance, right? So whether you're another way, like that, you know, so Harlequin the Huntress, sextress of men, money, and mischief, right? Yo, Natalie, what is up, beautiful? I'm just about to get off here, but I had an epic download that came through. I'm actually out running right now. Oh my God. I just like looked over and he's like, totally okay. So I was out here running. I haven't been running in a while, and I got all of these downloads. A lot of these for Harlequin the Huntress, but then I was just like, oh my God, I got to share this message with the people. So, yeah, definitely catch it later. So just so that you know, the message is for ambitious creatives and or entrepreneurs that either have challenges finding and or maintaining their pace. Okay, so that's what this was about. So if this resonates with you and or you have questions about that, reach out to me. Harlequin the Huntress is going to begin on the 20th of August. It's so hot. It's an 8-month mastermind, hybrid mastermind. And it is the most physical. I'm so fucking stacked. Oh my God. It is the most physical container within the Star Disco brand. Hence why I'm out oh my God. Okay. So, all right, let me just chill. There's like so many things that I could say about this, and we're stopping traffic over here. Okay. All right. Love you guys. Mwah. Bye.